What's going on, Canopy growth traders and investors? It's Rod with the Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Thursday, April 11th. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Canopy growth. We'll be discussing the vote that occurs tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I wanted to come on, remind everybody, and also do a prep video essentially. We'll look at the chart, the price action, what to expect in the days and weeks ahead, and the price action leading up to today. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say. Also, you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And also, if you can go over to the community tab on the YouTube channel, scroll down. I'll be giving away an annual membership in celebration of 420, Germany going legal, Florida on the ballot. Scroll down and you can see all the details there. Not sure if you can hear my daughter screaming in the background. My partner's looking after her, but I don't know. She must be hungry or something. Try to keep my train of thought going on this video, though. But I've already done videos on this. I wanted to come on and just remind everybody we have the exchangeable share vote tomorrow and the special meeting Friday, April 12th, 2024 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And I mentioned in these videos, and if you haven't seen this, I explain exchangeable shares and what this means. And a lot of people were saying, is it dilution? Essentially, no, because you're just exchanging one for one. So if you are a small or medium or large shareholder, you can just exchange one share if you want. You can exchange 1,000, 1,000,000. There's no limit. But all that means is if you have 1,000,000 shares, you can exchange all of them one for one, essentially, right? And if you haven't seen that, I explain what that is and essentially what all of this really means for Canopy Growth shareholders. And, is it dilution? Will the new shares trade on the NASDAQ? So all of these things, this was a live stream, so I interacted with all of you in the community. So if you haven't seen those, I highly encourage you to go check those out. But I did mention in this video, I think it was, and someone asked me what they expected in terms of price action. And I said I expected, we could see a little bit more of a bump higher to start the week, and then a sell-off midweek, and then into the vote on Friday, we should start to see more positive momentum to the upside, right? Because, traders are getting positioned and whatnot. After a huge move, right, we ran hundreds of percent leading into last week, right, and leading into this week. And I figured that the most likely scenario is we were more than likely due for a cool-off session. We were probably going to consolidate leading into that vote. And then, like I said, that vote occurs tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So we should start to see bulls step back in my opinion, leading into tomorrow afternoon and then even spillage over into next week. But we'll bring up the chart here at the moment. It was a daily bull flag. There was tons of daily bull flags in the sector as well. MSOS ETF. We had bull flags on SNDL. That was met to perfection. You can see here low to the high. We were targeting 268 and we hit 267 and then started to pull back. So if we bring up the CGC chart, it was a similar scenario. We had our low, high, brief higher low, held the 0.382 fib. And then once we broke the high there at 799, that confirmed the daily bull flag. And you just take your measured move from the low to the high, move it out to your 0.382 fib. And it said we were targeting about 1125 and we hit 1157. So we did overshoot that a little bit, but 296, geez, all the way from 296 all the way up to 1157 in how many trading days? That was just in 14 trading days or 21 days total. So that is a monster move, right? Leading off of the bottom there, the low to the high, that's about 312% from the local low there to the local high. So we knew that we were likely due for a 20, 30, maybe even 40% pullback. And so far from the high to the low now, we're down over 32%. So exactly what I anticipated was more likely going to happen, right? We were extremely overbought on the RSI. We're likely due for a cool off there. Like I said, ran over 300%. And at this point, still haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend. But this is generally what happens, right? When you're down 99% from all-time highs or February 2021 highs, 52-week highs, you're looking at the chart, and the more beaten down you are, the more, upside you can see in a very short period of time when something happens, right? And that something was Florida going on the ballot, right? Lots of speculation that we could get rescheduling announcements soon, excise taxes shifting to a flat fee to a percentage fee here in Canada, which is only going to help Canopy. And then obviously the shareholder special meeting and exchangeable share vote, which will be tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So lots of hype right now. And it's looking it's looking good, but this is to be expected. And if we just take our fib tool from the low to the high here, you can see we have the golden pocket there around 614 and the 0.786 fib at 464. So I think that's going to be an area to target. There's a lot of support in that $6 to $5 area, right? $5 psychological, but there's a lot of support there in that $6 area, which I'll show in just a moment. But we are seeing the first weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross since way back when in October 2020. Last time that happened, price absolutely skyrocketed. Then we had the bear cross with the shorter term above the longer term. Price cratered. And like I said, we're seeing the first weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross now for the first time in over 3 years. So this is a good sign, but the fact that we could potentially, like, we haven't changed the weekly trend either. So we still need to form a weekly higher low, and then we still need to form a monthly higher low, and then give us the monthly and weekly trend changes. So, we have EMAs right there around 630, 620. So that might be an area to target for a weekly higher low. If you're looking for entries, obviously not financial advice, but if you're looking for entries, might be a nice area to target there, mid sixes into low sixes, and look for that weekly higher low. And like I said, the first time we're seeing that weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross in over 3 years, coming on 4 years. It's looking really, really good. And then something that's occurring as well is a golden cross with the 50-day moving average below the 200-day moving average. Again, that hasn't happened since October and November 2020. And then we had a death cross with the 50 above the shorter term, the 50-day, above the longer term, the 200-day. When that happened, price absolutely cratered as well. So now we're seeing that first golden cross for the first time in over 3 years again. So it's looking really, really good at the moment. We're also above the 50 weekly, and we closed above it for the last few candles. So this is looking really, really good. Lots of names are starting to trend back to their 200 weekly. I don't expect that anytime soon for Canopy. That'd put us around $102. But you have to factor in post split, right? That's really only like $10, which isn't that far fetched. But we have the 100 weekly there at $17, and at the moment we could potentially be back testing the 50 weekly there at 6.146. So again, a lot of support there at that $6 area. We also have the 50-day moving average at 5 and the 200-day moving average at 5.62. So we could potentially back test those. But like I said, this vote, we could potentially see traders start to position into tomorrow. It's going to really depend on the broader market as well. If the S&P 500 is heading to daily oversold, potentially seeing a daily EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, we could see a little bit more weakness into tomorrow. And stock was down over 12% at one point today. And again, we still haven't even started weekly consolidation. I mentioned that weekly inside bars and tightening ranges were the most likely scenario based on the size of that candle from last week. That range was 36%. So if we lose 725, then we start weekly consolidation. We lose the low last week, and then we look for a weekly higher low somewhere around that $6 area. So we could potentially see a little bit more weakness into tomorrow morning, in my opinion. And then, like I said, leading into the afternoon and into next week, we could start to see traders start to position and people start to load up for that weekly higher low, try to change the weekly trend. Then we still have a lot of work to do on the monthly time frame. Going to be at least a couple months before we change the monthly trend as well. But we could potentially change the weekly trend here over the next couple of weeks. And we also have the 10-week moving average there at 553. And we're extremely bullish on the stochastic and the MACD. But we could potentially see a retest of that 10-week moving average. So like I said, we have a lot of support in that $5 to $6 area. But like I said, if you're looking for a nice area to target for an entry, I don't think you could go wrong. I wouldn't have any issue, if it were me, adding around that mid 6 to low 6 area, just scouting that weekly higher low and that back test of the weekly moving averages and exponential moving averages. So hopefully this video is helpful. Let me know in the comments below, do you think this is going to get approved? I think the shareholders are going to pretty much unanimously approve it. And we know that Constellation Brands, they're behind it as well. So they've already expressed their intent to exchange their shares, their common shares, into exchangeable shares. So I think the writing's on the wall. I'm pretty sure this is going to go through. And like I said, we could potentially see a little bit more downsides, go to weekly higher low, and then into next week, I think we could resume our bullish momentum. But curious to see what everybody else thinks in the comment section below. Drop a comment and we'll continue the conversation there. But going to end it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and have a great rest of your day. See you on the next video.